Very good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to sincerely thank you for all your time that you've given us, from the organizers committee, from my team, from all the sponsors and partners here. Really appreciate your support in giving us an opportunity to interact with you and share with you some of the innovative things we are doing today. My name is Mayank Srivastava. I help manage the business for a company called Silverleaf Solutions, and I take the next 12 to 13 minutes to share with you as to what we can do in terms of optimizing your cost. We are the only company which can help you save a lot of cost, which you can use to buy all the products which are there in this summit today and outside. It was an organization founded in 2015. Since then, it's been about 4 years of journey. We expanded to 5 continents, and we've tried to build a very strong focus on software licensing and asset management. Just to share with you, because we are advisories, only doing advisory services, we only focus on one thing of how you can optimize your spend on all that you do and purchase on software licenses. And we'll talk about more about it in detail. Our vision is to try to become the #1 global IT cost optimization company. Our mission is typically to provide research-based, independent software licensing, software asset management on software procurement advisory services that will help you guarantee save about 10 to 12% in annual costs. Let's look at some of the global trends. According to IDC, typically the software license complexity is so much that organizations spend about close to 5 to 20% of their budgets only to manage the complexity around licensing. According to Gartner, the entire business of enterprise software license is estimated to be about $420 billion. It's growing at about 8.5 to 9% CAGR. Similarly, out of this overall market of $420 billion, $75 to $80 billion is the annual contractual market taken by the top 5 publishers. Whether it's Microsoft, IBM, Oracle, SAP, Amazon, Salesforce, they typically occupy and sign up $75 to $80 billion of contracts on a yearly basis. Gartner typically says software licensing optimization can definitely lead up to savings of about 30% on all your such contracts. And finally, over the next 12 months, it is estimated that most organizations across the globe will typically overspend on 75% of the spends that they do across all of IT. And these are figures and facts that's been said by Gartner, IDC, and many such forums across multiple platforms globally, which is where we've thought of this vision of we can join together and probably become your partners or extended trusted advisors to be able to help you advise and save on cost. Some of the challenges that typically customers face: first, licensing is an extremely complicated subject. 430-page document of Microsoft, 244-page document of SAP, 323-page document of Oracle, nobody reads. Neither the sales guys reads, neither the partner reads, neither the resellers reads, neither the auditor reads, nor you guys read. We have built a bread and butter business on reading each and every product use right and program contract clause of all such licensing contracts that we sign, that are signed across the globe. The reason why we expanded globally is not because those markets are attractive, it's because of the fact that the contracts are customized in a different manner in different geography. The pricing arbitrage is different. Exceptions given to different customers is different. Whatever happens to BFSI vertical in India happens differently to BFSI vertical in Europe. And therefore, we wanted to get that knowledge, because of which we opened up centers all over the globe. Today, we have an understanding, access to all typical customizations, exceptions, and grants which are given by these companies and software manufacturers to all large customers such as yourselves in contracts, in contractual markets, or in non-contractual spends as well. Multiple software publishers have to be managed from time to time. There is unpredictable budgeting, because then the price increase always happens. Whenever most of us go and renew the contract, a price increase is always shown by the reseller or by the OEM. And how do we manage that? If we are not aware of the price increase upfront, I'm not sure how we are doing a good amount of budgeting in advance. Typically, it works as follows. I have spent so much of money in last year's contract renewal. This year, I will spend about 5% more or 5% less. And that's the benchmark we have. Otherwise, what we do, we call a few industry associates and we figure out, where did the deal close at? Is it always about discounting? What we are trying to tell you is not about discounting. You guys are the best negotiators any which ways to buy what you want to buy. What we are saying is leverage the conceptual use rights information, the different types of contracts which are available for you to purchase the same software. Don't compromise on technology, but optimize on what you can buy, where you can buy, and at what contract, at what exception level. And we have multiple examples to share with you over the last 4 years that we've built, and probably some of that would make relevant to each one of you in the room. A typical OEM would have a pressure of selling more. Every time we come from Microsoft, we come from SAP, we come from IBM, a bunch of people within Silverleaf globally are all ex-OEM companies. We always had the pressure to sell more. We had the pressure to sell even more at a higher price or a higher product bundle at all points in time. Therefore, under that pressure, it does not really matter what the customer is consuming. Apart from the pressure of selling more, you have the pressure of selling under a new licensing metric or a new licensing model. As the customers move to the cloud, whether you use the AI or the ML or whichever technology, as you move to the cloud, you'll have to adopt the new licensing practices of the cloud model. Now, can you do an Adobe license on a perpetual basis? You cannot. What are the options available for you? Sooner or later, 2 to 5 years down the line, we will all be locked into a particular cloud subscription of a particular OEM, and we will have no way, or we'll have a high cost of exit to move from one technology to the other. How can you build in flexibility into your licensing contracts while negotiating? Negotiation is no more only on the price. It has a lot more parameters which we want to discuss with you. So therefore, to be able to ensure that the publisher wants to sell more and you have a complexity of licensing, there is somebody that needs to come in between who's independent. The most important thing that I want to communicate to you guys is that we are independent, research oriented, and we do the research on our own. There is nobody who trains us on licensing. There is nobody we go back to. We are not a reseller. We are not an auditor. We are independent, and we are able to advise you on what is possible under the sun. That's one. Second, bringing transparency on contracts and helping you build the IT roadmap. That is something that we want to do. So our solution is very, very simple. Our bread and butter, we are not a huge company. We are about a 50 consultant organization globally and expanding. But people who have this knowledge of across contracts, pricing, exceptions, and grants are a handful of people. And we have just accumulated knowledge, and we have put a support center from a research center standpoint to be able to give this offering to all of you. What is our portfolio? And I'll build the slide. Most important, licensing advisory. Anytime you have a requirement of looking at, you're doing a renewal, you're going for a new order, you're entering into a merger, you're doing a divestiture, you have to look at licensing contracts as well. What do we typically do? We look at the technology guys, will look at technology, they will give the contract to procurement, procurement will negotiate, give the contract to legal, legal will sign it off. Does legal understand licensing terms and conditions? I'm not too sure. But then who validates whether this is the best contract for you? Who validates whether this is the only product that you need to buy? And therefore, that is where we come in from a licensing advisory perspective as to what makes sense. Procurement. There is a lot of tail-end procurement that you buy. We buy one license of this particular software, one from this software. How would you know whether you can buy the software online from a different country at a different market at a better price than as compared to buying from your same set of vendors that you have and you've been buying for so long? And that is the tail-end procurement management and strategic advice that we can do of how you can optimize your tail-end procurement. Asset management, very, very important. Very well done by resellers all over the globe. Very well done by the auditors that we typically love to work with because they are the big four. But then there is always a probability of leakage of information. Independent, whether you do it from us or you get it done from somebody else. Asset management is a very simple concept of helping you understand what is the gap between what you're entitled for, what you've bought, what you've deployed, and out of the deployment, what you've consumed. You at any point in time need not be over licensed or under licensed. Normally we go to the big four to be able to get this done. But then do they understand licensing? Unless they put licensing on top of the reports which are generated from the asset management tools, it is of no use. That is where we are saying, look at an independent party to be able to ensure that asset management exercise from a discovery to be able to execute and get real-time compliance should be done independently for you where data is completely protected. And some of the customers here are already taking these services from us and maybe companies like us elsewhere as well. But independent is more important. And the last is technology. A lot of customers say that we don't want to get locked into a particular technology domain and we want the option to be able to switch. We give them options to be able to switch. Not that we want to promote the other technology, but then the customer should already be aware of what is available under the sun. And this is what comes under technology evangelization. How does this work? A simple process, we pre-engage, we do the discovery workshops, We look at your, in fact, technology, all the alternative models available. We do the contract optimization for you. We do commercial analysis with you, and we look at the tax implications as well. A lot of European customers buy contracts and sign contracts in Singapore. They do it in Dubai. They do it in India. For what reasons? Maybe they save a lot of tax. We have all that knowledge because we've structured these contracts ourselves. And that is what we can leverage and give it to you if you have an entity or a legal firm or a subsidiary outside of India. So therefore, if it makes sense for you to optimize costs, and that's the number one priority, I think we are the best partners. Whether you're doing well or not, it doesn't matter, because then we can help you really save a lot of multi-billion-dollar costs on all your spends. And finally, we help you sign off. We are not an advisor like a McKinsey or a BCG charging you money on advising you something. We are hand-holding and working with you till you sign the contract. Because whatever exceptions we try and tell you are typically not approved as standard versions. They all need to be built and sold to the OEM with a context in mind. And this is where we come in as partners to you to be able to tell you this exception can be granted to your company if you say this to the OEM or if you build a context around it. And that is why we are very unique in whatever limited knowledge that we give you depending on the scope of optimization you have. Guaranteed savings on existing or planned spends with an outcome-based fee model is the focus area, ensuring risk mitigation and 100% compliance. The most important tagline. So first of all, guaranteed savings. Second, gain share fee-based, outcome-based model. So we have an outcome-based model. The dollar you save, a percentage of the savings is our fees. That's the model we work on. So we win-win together. What do you lose in engaging with us? Nothing. Because if we are not able to give so much of advice to be able to save you cost, you don't pay us anything. So it becomes an easy proposition for us to engage under a strict NDA. You will not see any customer name here. You will not see any OEM name here. But then they are all available for references for you to talk in the industry or amongst yourselves about us and about our services. But we are under strict NDA and we don't disclose name without their permission. So it's a very simple global model of saying that we want to ensure that with 100% compliance, no compromise on technology, you will be assured of an outcome-based gain fee model and guaranteed savings. Moving forward, when to engage. Whenever a contract comes up for a renewal, whenever there's a new contract you're looking to sign off, if it's a one-time special order that you're looking at to buy, you want to restructure an existing contract in the middle of the term, or you have an outsourcing contract as well. And these are some of the examples. Even in some cases, in the existing contract that you have for a period of 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years, we can save you cost on the recurring billings that happen. So therefore, give us an opportunity. There's nothing to lose. Maybe we can save cost. If not, we don't lose anything. We just share the knowledge with you, and we are all more informed about the entire practices being adopted in the industry. Why us? Independent and unbiased advisory. Second, we are on your side, bringing in transparency at all points in time. Third, neither a reseller nor an auditor. Therefore, there is no conflict of interest. Fourth, we are basically supported by a very strong research team which is doing R&D on all the licensing terms as they evolve month over month, because every first of calendar month, the licensing terms are published by the publisher, which nobody reads. What products have changed? Nobody knows. Unless you wait for the publisher to come themselves or your reseller to come to you, you would not be aware. Because that's not what your focus area is. And therefore, there's this company now who cuts across multiple OEMs to be able to give you that knowledge and transparency of what could impact you further. If the end of life is coming, what could impact you further? But both from a licensing standpoint and from a technology standpoint. And that is something that you can look at by taking our services. The terms of license, contract experts for all major publishers, we cut across. We are not saying only the top 5, we are saying any large spend or substantial spend that you do in your premise, probably check with us, and maybe there's an area or an iota of optimization possible. And finally, it's a gain share model, so there's nothing to lose. The team, a team of licensing experts, SAM consultants, contract specialists, taxation, legal and GRC consultants, technology evangelists, and cloud architect. That's pretty much what we have. We don't even have a single sales guy in the team because we don't need one. We just need people who are very, very strong and core, who understand technology across platforms, and we need people who understand licensing and pricing and contracts as well. That's the kind of team we have. References across all industries are available on request. A biopharma company, an IT services company, one of the largest private sector banks, auto manufacturer, and many more. And therefore, we have references, we can share with you, you can talk to them, no problem. But the intent is that we want to focus on only one thing. If you give us an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, we want to save costs for you, and you use that cost to innovate and buy new technologies as and when you like. That's pretty much it from our side. I am 30 seconds left. Thank you so much again for your time. Really appreciate your support. Thank you.